50 people are facing federal charges related to desperate, well-to-do parents bribing various people, including college employees and SAT personnel, to get their children into certain colleges. The colleges and universities implicated in this mess are Yale, Stanford, Georgetown, Wake Forest University, USC, UCLA, and UT Austin. It should be noted that all of the school-affiliated people who were indicted held sports-related jobs and presumably were paid off to recruit potential applicants as athletes, thereby significantly increasing their chances of gaining admission to the respective school. In the case of Stanford and its now fired sailing coach, Stanford claims neither of the two students related to these indictments actually went to Stanford. One was denied admission and the second never completed an application. That feel when your parent bribes someone at a school to get you in and you don't even have the courtesy to complete the application. Talk about disappointment. The parents indicted are mostly CEOs, high-level executives, other random bigwigs, and a few celebrities, including Felicity Huffman and Aunt Becky from Full House. I never expected this kind of thing from Aunt Becky. Aunt Becky's hubby was also indicted, and have no fear, her real-life hubby isn't John Stamos, a.k.a. Uncle Jesse. It's the Mossimo fashion designer dude who's apparently worth 80 mil or something like that. Way to go, Aunt Becky. Well, Aunt Becky and Mossimo, brah, paid USC 500 racks. I repeat, 500 racks to admit their two useless daughters. They got in to be on the crew team, but they never did crew a day in their life. WTF, man, WTF. One of the daughters made a famous YouTube video a few years back about going to college and how she didn't care about going to college. She just wanted to hang out and party and whatnot. They paid 500 racks just to tell other parents their kids went to an acceptable school. Meanwhile, the dad is already worth tens of millions, if not 100 million, and none of them gives a rat's ass about money, earning money, or education. Weird flex, but okay. I chalk it up to being used to paying for everything that you want in life, obtaining validation that you succeeded as a parent, and tangible proof that your kids aren't complete pieces of shit. I'm not surprised to hear about bribing or donating to get kids into schools, but I must admit it was a bit shocking to hear that in at least a few cases, SAT administrators had been paid off to let a few students cheat on the exam by having some dude, probably an edgy Princeton Review employee gone bad, with them who would correct their mistakes and take portions of the test for them. This all went down in hidden chamber classrooms at a couple different testing locations under the guise of providing special accommodations for students with learning disabilities. For shame. One girl's SAT score was 400 points higher than her PSAT score from the previous year. At the center of this scandal is William Singer, a dude who runs a college prep business by way of a bogus nonprofit organization, which is just a front for him to pay off university officials and college entrance exam personnel and whoever else needs to get paid off to get rich, useless brats into college to appear accomplished and lit. A favorite angle of his was to weasel these trust fund babies in through athletic departments. He'd even have photos taken of some of these kids pretending to play sports and whatnot. It was a complete shit show. Recently, TMZ uncovered that back in 2010, he tried to sell a reality TV show about how he helps desperate parents get their kids into college. It wasn't picked up, but he didn't let that stop him. He kept his operation rolling, and he made tens of millions of dollars in this racket 25 M's to be precise, and he's facing 65 years in prison. Considering that homeboy is 58, that's basically a life sentence. Dude is from Newport Beach, which is the first clue that he's a villain. I'm 93% sure that everyone who lives in Newport Beach has committed SEC violations, is or was involved in some level of organized crime, has taken bribes, and or abuses prescription drugs. A word to the wise: someone wants to do business with you and you find out they're from Newport Beach, you keep your shit moving. But yeah, he already pled guilty and he'll be sentenced in June. No doubt he pulled a Tejaja 6'9" and threw everyone else under the bus in the hopes of getting a reduced sentence. Would your honor like the email addresses and social security numbers of everyone I transacted business with, including Aunt Becky from Full House? Similar to Tejaja 6'9", the feds hit him with all kinds of racketeering, conspiracy action, money laundering conspiracy action, conspiracy to defraud action, and obstruction of justice action. He's currently out on a $500,000 unsecured bond. Isn't it cute how our criminal justice system works? You commit crimes based on what amounts to being a liar, and then the court lets you out on an unsecured bond. The lesson the government really wants to teach you here is that if you want to commit crimes, you should only commit white-collar crimes that net you millions of dollars. You'll make much more money that way, therefore you'll get much better treatment when you get caught, because let's face it, money talks, baby. You'll have enough money to hire the best legal representation, and even if you get convicted, you'll get sent to a prison that's on par with resorts for middle-class people. Yes, it's a step down from the life you're accustomed to, but it sure beats doing time with all the low-class brutes beating each other's brains out and drilling butts like it ain't nothing wrong. The great irony of this situation is that these children don't even need to get into these schools to improve their lives in any meaningful way. The practical benefit of going to an elite school for a middle-class kid or a lower-class kid is to join a strong network. But these people are already in the strongest of networks. They already have the connections and relationships to get choice positions and opportunities. They really don't need school for any practical reason. The truth of the matter is that even though this scandal is an example of overt bribery and cheating, a sizable percentage of students at prestigious universities are not accepted strictly on merit, and it's always been that way. Ivy League schools and the lesser rung of old school East Coast private colleges are notorious for letting rich connected idiots into their schools. Exhibit A, the entire Trump family got into UPenn. Exhibit B, George W. Bush, the former dumbest president before Trump came into the picture, got into Yale for undergrad and Harvard for grad school. What are the odds? Oh, we do it to make our schools interesting. These schools flat out accept a sizable number of rich and famous kids to create an interesting and diverse class of rich people. To keep it 100, I've already lost all respect for so-called elite colleges and universities in recent times. They nurture and produce the leaders of our corrupt and oppressive system. Many accuse these institutions of promoting liberal ideals, but as far as I can see, these universities only promote PC corporate liberalism, which amounts to nothing more than speech censorship and the structural oppression of the poor. Well, yes, we believe in oppression because oppression created us, and we churn out tomorrow's leaders of oppression. You say financial fraud, we say investment banking. This scandal illustrates the perverse way that money and power infiltrates every area of life, even enrollment in school. Our society worships money while also claiming that merit is everything. We live in a merit-based society. Merit leads to money, and if you're disenfranchised, it's your fault because you aren't hardworking and therefore have no money. But we realize that some groups of voters, I mean people, are oppressed, so let's accept a few of them every year into our clubs, and that should make everything wonderful. Rejoice! A few select members of your downtrodden community can join the oppressor class, but just a few. Remember, we have to hold a place for the Chelsea Clintons and the Malia Obamas of tomorrow. Thank God we don't have to hold a place for the Trump family. That's UPenn's job.